This is a BC News and Weather Update. Here's Stacey Ross.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us, and Happy New Year. This year's trend may have been to usher in 2010 quietly at home or at the home of friends and family, but there was plenty of action in the capital region as we said goodbye to 2009. They were dancing in the streets of Victoria as New Year's Eve partiers enjoyed a seemingly endless assortment of celebrations. A particularly meaningful New Year's Eve event for McMorran's restaurant in Saanich. The establishment, a long-time fixture on Vancouver Island, will be closing its doors this coming year. Police were busy as expected overnight, but extra staff kept disruptions and disturbances to a minimum.
New Year's Eve was a very steady night for Victoria police officers. There was about 40 officers on shift. There was about 35 arrests made, all males, mostly related to alcohol consumption.
Saanich police made 13 arrests overnight, the charges ranging from mischief for loud house parties to assault. All in all, Saanich police had 80 calls for service. West Shore RCMP made 14 arrests overnight and were faced with a tragic start to 2010 at an accident in Colwood. Just after 3 this morning, one man was killed in a single vehicle accident on Highway 14 near Goldstream Avenue. This Chrysler LeBaron wrapped itself around a telephone pole as it was heading westbound on Stoop Road.
When we arrived at the scene, there were several witnesses. The initial investigation has determined that the male lone occupant driver was deceased at scene. We've called the coroner and also a traffic analyst has attended the scene, and our investigation is ongoing.
Police are considering weather and speed as possible factors. No word on whether alcohol may have been involved. There were several witnesses. The investigation continues. And as dawn broke on 2010, nowhere was it more festive than at Victoria's City Hall. Dozens of folks rubbing elbows with local government and community leaders as the 13th annual Poor People's Tour got underway. The group spending the day touring the local New Year's levees around the capital region. The annual tour was initiated to remind us that those who live in poverty don't take a holiday. It's open to all comers and is completely free thanks to support from a number of labor unions and the Raging Grannies, and is considered by most to be a great way to kick off the new year. Holidays and hockey, it's a fun combination, but for one player, a fun game of hockey became a matter of life and death. We still support.
52-year-old Paul Walters is a lucky man. Today he's alive, up and around his Nanaimo home. But 10 days ago, on the night of December 21st, Paul lay clinically dead on the floor of this change room at the Nanaimo Ice Center.
I just vaguely remember them reviving me and the paramedics there. And then the next time I woke up was 2 days afterwards.
The night had begun like so many others before, a fun game of hockey just like these guys at the same arena today. But halfway through the game, on this bench, he was struck with chest pains.
It was very central, center in the chest, and I thought that it was my asthma, and it was more like a burn.
Then a few minutes later, he made his way to the dressing room where he had just enough time to summon help from fellow player, longtime friend, and off-duty paramedic Dave Cheapwatt.
And as I turned back to Paul, he just collapsed.
He lay on the floor in here and flatlined twice as his friends worked to revive him.
So we started doing compressions right away, and after a few minutes, the AED said to give a shock. He gave a shock, and got pulses back.
The AED is this automated external defibrillator someone else had retrieved from the lobby. 911 is also called, and all the while, both teams, including Dave Kirk, are now standing outside the dressing room, calling for Paul to come back.
There was a lot of yelling and screaming, trying to keep Paul awake and keep Paul with us, and we just stayed out of the way and waited for the paramedics.
2 other hockey players, Jeff Braun and Pat O'Dwyer, also take turns giving CPR, while the defibrillator gives automatic instructions. Paul has been rushed to hospital, where a stent is put in his heart, and today he's already back at home, back from the brink of death.
My fellow players were working at me fiercely until the paramedics came. How does it make you feel? Well, grateful and humble.
8 defibrillators were installed in several Nanaimo public buildings back in September 2008. The first time one was used was December 21st to save Paul Wolter's life.
This is the season for resolutions, but perhaps not for Vancouver Island athletes. Whatever they were doing in 2009, keep on doing it. Another tremendous year for athletes on the island. Paul Hayson now takes a look back at some of the memorable moments.
2009 opened the same way the previous four did. Canada picking up World Junior gold for the 5th straight year. But this time there was an island connection. Victoria's Jamie Benn was key in the tournament and brought home the gold. In February, the ice at the Save-On Food Center went pebbled as Victoria hosted the 2009 Scotty Tournament of Hearts. Jennifer Jones was the favorite. Canada again in Korea. Jennifer Jones. And Jennifer Jones came out on top. Hockey was back in the limelight in spring for the Victoria Salmon Kings. It was the 2nd straight year the team took a second-round playoff exit, losing to the Alaska Aces. The Vancouver Canucks also dropped from the playoffs in the 2nd round. Chicago's Patrick Kane proving to be too strong in game number 6. The Victoria Grizzlies hosted the RBC National Junior A Championships. The Grizzlies' chance at gold was dashed in the semis, and it was the Vernon Vipers who would take the title. The story of summer, the boys of summer. Professional baseball returned to the capital when the Victoria Seals played their inaugural season in the Golden Baseball League. The team missed the playoffs, but proved quite popular, finishing 2nd in attendance in the entire league.
Saunders is back right in front of the wall. He leaps.
Another Victoria product made an impact in the big as Mike Saunders was called up to the Seattle Mariners and turned some heads with his amazing plays in the outfield.
What do you think about Michael Saunders?
Steve Nash, the title and degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Victoria's favorite son, Steve Nash, wore a different type of jersey in September when UVic awarded the 2-time NBA MVP an honorary law degree. Football took a front seat this fall when the Vancouver Island Raiders continued their dominance of junior football, winning their 2nd straight national title and 3rd championship in just 4 years.
There goes Simon Whitfield.
Victoria's golden boy, Simon Whitfield, got top honors in October when he was asked to run the opening leg of the Olympic torch relay with fellow Olympian Katrina LeMaidon.
Sit right to bend, get you been loose.
Yes, 2009 was a good year for Island sports, and with Island athletes continuing to flourish, 2010 looks to be just as impressive.
That's what's making news on this January 1st, 2010. Gordy Pepper will be here shortly to look at your BC weather, and we'll have much more news for you in just a few moments. Stay with us.